Hey, what's up? Have I learned C before? Very briefly. I took a class on it in like 2-3 years ago. So it's been a while. But I'm mainly using C++ for most of the stuff I work on. But I probably should honestly do more like non-object oriented development and programming. I'm sure I would probably have an easier time rather than building out class hierarchies. But for what I'm trying to do, it makes sense. Let's see. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Rubies. I think I probably should go try C eventually. We could do medium, yeah, so we could do, okay, let's see. I guess we'd need a play game sort of method. Or I guess it would be start. And then I think we should have a difficulty of some kind. So here we could just do like an enum or enum. Hope everybody's doing good. I know I'm sorry, I'm like just trying to think through this design first before I start coding up stuff. So our barrier is going to have a position. Our barrier doesn't really have anything other than position, really. guess we'd want to check. Well, we want to know what side. If we're going to update the score, we need to know what side it was on. So we would want to say. I guess we'd want to do like. I'm trying to think if it's like is on player side or something like that. So like we have a method that checks. So is on player side. And then this will check. Well, this will take a position. And then this will take the position and check if it's on the right side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Because that's really all that the barrier is going to do here. It'll say, hey, if it's on this side, then the score can update to this person's score. And our score also... I think it might be worth having like a score class since we need to update it on the screen as well, not just in the game. So if we got a score class, then we could move these points out of the game. The game can handle all the updating and basically handle all the frame updates. The score can update based off of. So I guess we could just technically go like this and do score and then have it pull from the score class and then update based on which player's score it takes from. But I'm gonna say that our score also is gonna need a position. Because on screen it will. Well, no, I guess it won't really need a position. It's going to more need, because I feel like it's going to be such a static position that it wouldn't really be worth putting like in a position object. It would more be, that would be more in the rendering class. So I would say we probably need some sort of render class. Which is kind of like what the mesh is doing. So I would say mesh/render. And then that mesh class can handle rendering the static objects. So like the score and this dash. And then our position, this will also render our bars. And then our bars will have a position unlike these, because our position can update. Whereas these will be static, so we can just set them as a... We can set these positions as like a constant rather than something that we can update with. W for not vibe coding. Hey, thanks, man. I'm just trying my best to learn architecture and do good at not overutilizing AI. I use it for sure, but I think it's just fun to try and learn systems design and like building a program from scratch. So I would say for our AI, we need to have an algorithm to where, I mean, you can see here this AI kind of goes and follows wherever the ball is going. So we almost need like a sort of prediction to where, hey, if the position of the ball is going to be, if it's far away from where our paddle currently is, then we need to move the paddle there. And then we need to update the paddle. We need to make sure that the AI's paddle has a sort of threshold for how it knows when it's close to the ball. So we basically need to like make sure it's in accuracy. That would obviously depend on the difficulty, but I think if it was like on hard mode or whatever, it would be super accurate in like detecting where the ball is going to go. So like let me do like hard mode, Yeah, you can see here it's basically just fully tracking the position of the ball. And that time it missed it because the ball was going in a crazy location. But yeah, it's only able to really move so fast because the ball is really unpredictable here. But let's see here. We do need a ball class, actually, because our ball is also going to have a position as well. So our ball is actually going to be the one that has the velocity. The Pong paddle AI is pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm guessing it won't be too bad because we really can just like basically move it based on the position of the ball, essentially, like update it. I haven't really ever written like AI for anything before, so this will be an interesting experience to see how if I can write an algorithm that works well. The problem is I first have to get all of these methods figured out so that once I actually get into coding up the game, it makes sense. Like that's the whole purpose of designing first, for me at least. Because if I just go straight jumping into coding, it'll work somewhat, but yeah, I don't know. Ball.y with some dampening value depending on difficulty. Yeah, exactly. Well, I was thinking too, like with the difficulty would basically depend on where the ball, yeah, the ball.y is going. So update that in accordance essentially to where the ball is going as much as we can at least. And then we would want to update the speed of the paddle for sure. I mean, it only is going to do what it can. So, but it's good to have this game as reference because I think it really helps with the straightforward options. But our ball class is basically, let's see, what is a ball? What attributes does the ball have? Our ball has a position. It has a velocity. It does have an acceleration actually, because we have to have an acceleration if we're gonna, if the ball is gonna like bounce off a corner or something, it's gonna have to accelerate, I'm assuming. We don't have to have acceleration. We honestly might just need the velocity, but I feel like acceleration would make sense, especially if with user input. We'd want to be able to update how fast we're moving, depending on the difficulty. We can probably think about that later if that makes sense. What else? What other attributes does a ball have? I guess we could give it a size of some kind later. That would be a fun option later on, but I think for now it just really needs these 3 physics objects. Yeah. And then it probably would just have a method of like bounce. So like the method could literally just be bounce off of the paddle and basically just check where it's hitting. So bounce. We also need in our game class of some kind, we need some kind of barrier or bounds. But that's not, I guess we could check is out of bounds, or actually our bounds are going to be more of a that might be more part of like the rendering where our bounds are. I'm gonna think about that one for sure. I think our render class would handle that for the most part. Alright, so our texture has an ID and a type. Oh wait, type. our texture loader is gonna take a texture. Well, honestly, we probably don't need the texture loader since we only have like 2 textures, so we can just manually do those. Can you move the webcam to the top right corner? It has less chance to block the code. Yeah, sure. Is that better, guys? Hopefully that. There we go. Also, feel free to join the Discord if you guys are new here. With a velocity, let me try and remember this. Okay, I think I see where user input, we need to update that actually. So, okay, let's see. We obviously are going to need our constructors as well. I almost forgot about those. Hey, how's it going, Bastion? I am working on class diagrams right now for the Pong game. I'm basically architecting the game itself and how everything is connected. So we're basically kind of going over how all of our different objects and how they're connected before we actually start coding. Because I think the mistake that I've had, honestly, in that when I've been doing these streams, is I've jumped straight into the code and then I get really unmotivated because I don't actually know like the proper steps I need to take for design wise. So I'm doing design first, which is smart, obviously, so that once I have all the methods that I think that the game needs, it's literally so much easier to code everything out. Because then I could just look at this and be like, oh yeah, our player 2 points is a uint or whatever. And then when I'm coding, I could be like, that actually doesn't make sense here, and I can change it. So I think designing first and foremost is better. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's not perfect, but I'm just kind of starting slow, and eventually once we get to bigger games, it'll be an even bigger design tree. But right now it's super small, which is nice. Also, hopefully the music and stuff is okay, guys. Acceleration honestly might not make a ton of sense right here for the paddle. The paddle only moves according to the speed of which we move our mouse. So like, if I move really fast, I don't think that's going to accelerate the paddle anymore. It's just going to go the constant speed of what I'm moving it at. So I think that it makes sense, though, that we accelerate the ball based off of the angle. That's another thing we need, is an angle. Because the angle will actually tell us in what the direction that it's going. So we need an angle and a direction, probably. Well, I guess direction would be more position. But we do need an angle, I think. I think that would probably be good to simplify that there into an angle. Oh, okay. Just more and more classes as we keep moving on. I mean, all of this could really be done in one file. But honestly, I think if you're trying to design something that works really well in a system, it's better to do some UML. Goated for UML modeling. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate UML diagramming, but honestly, for me, it makes a lot of sense when you're designing a program. You know, you want to be able to see how everything works together. So I think what I'm seeing here is our game is going to have an AI, and then I guess we probably need a player class as well, because our player is going to have its own attributes. I guess we could have our player 1 and player 2, but we could just have a player object and have 2 players. So I guess you could say that, like, we could just construct 2 new players, you know, because then that makes it so if we ever added multiple players, they could each be their own individual player object. Yeah. I don't know. Because then having 2 player classes is just reusing the same code. So that kind of makes it redundant. That's why I feel like we could have the score all handled in the game and update the score with the game class. But if we have the score somewhere else, then we can update it per player rather than just in one place. So we can have the player use a score, and then that player 1 can update based on the score here rather than just in the game. It could work either way. I could see it working both ways. Yeah, there we go. That's better. But yeah, let's see. What attributes does a player have in this game? A player does not have a paddle. A player does have a score. And the player probably has a high score, is my imagination. So we can say that the player has a score, which is a score. And then we can also say that the player has a high score, which is also a score. And a score we can give a high score as well. So a high score can just be an int. I guess we would want it to be a uint so that it's not negative. And then we would want a method to check if it's a high score. So is high score. Bool. And then we would want a method to say set high score. So like get and set. Get score. We want to set it as well. And then we would want to get the high score and set the high score. Okay, I probably got about 10, 15 more minutes, and then I gotta get off and go to bed because I gotta go to work in the morning. But this is fun. I'm enjoying this. Okay. So the player is gonna have a score and a high score. Well, I guess the game will have a high score, not the player. But we could associate the high score to a player. Why are we UMLing? I know a lot of people hate UMLing. I think it works better for me for when I'm designing. I don't know. I struggle a little bit recently with just getting into the code. So I think designing the system works for me. I don't know. I can understand the distaste around it and like why it's gross, but it works for me. It helps me go from, you know, figuring out what makes sense in connecting code. So I apologize if it is gross. Hey, how's it going, Jaden? My evening's going great, actually. Just doing some UMLing, which a lot of people hate. I get it though, honestly. It's going good though. I'm just happy to be streaming. I'm happy to be back on. It's been a bit. Actually, I need to turn my light on. It's starting to get dark. There we go. Okay, and then we want to get their pixels. How's everybody else doing? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys much this stream. Hope everybody's doing great. Who's all in the stream? I haven't checked in on you guys in a minute. Oh. I took a week away from programming. That's probably good, honestly. I mean, I kind of did that unintentionally, and it was nice. Are you still doing it for work, or Chica? I can't remember. I know you said you did stuff with C++. How's that been for you, getting a break from it? I'm thinking you could try a fixed time step so you can speed up or slow down. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'll do something similar. I think for acceleration, we'll just have an add method, where we can add that, you know, based on... Oh, you went to the Bahamas? Dude, heck yeah. That's the dream right there. Based on the velocity. So we can add our acceleration and then our time. Yeah, we can have a time... basically, we can have a time double that we can just add. So that's probably what will go in velocity. Alright, so we got our getters, our set pixels. I just took a long break from coding. I did a one-day project when my hand was hurting, and it was just a demo for a jam. On the third day, my fingertips were hurting and not feeling pain, but they were itching. Oh yeah. And so I decided to switch to red switches. Oh, nice. Well, I hope that your hand's feeling better. I'm sorry that your hand's been hurting. That's not fun. So I think our we could probably just do A. There we go. PC keyboard gives me hand pain, so does an arcade stick, but a gamepad doesn't. Not... carpool? Not chronic yet. Dang, I'm sorry, guys. I better be careful with my hands then, too. I mean, I know that... I know it's not good to be on a keyboard all day. One thing you can try is to lift your wrists up while using the keyboard. I actually have a keyboard rest, but yeah, that's a good... Like, I have a little hand rest thing. I could probably use more. I probably should use it more. Alright, so I think this position class honestly looks pretty good. I do think we need some... I think we need to compute... Well, no, we probably don't need to compute the distance. Oh, we do need to convert our meters from pixels, though. I forgot what marking static is. Underline. Okay. Perfect. I typed too fast is the problem. As to not pinch nerve canals going from your palm to your elbows. Gotcha. I don't type fast enough, guys. I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm a horrible typer. Alright, 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna probably hop off. Did some design today, which I'm happy with. Do I post these VODs? Yeah, they just hang out on my channel. There's a bunch of them if you want to check them out. If you go to my channel, I have quite a few. You can see here, I just have like all my past streams. There's a few that I have taken down, just for reasons like accidentally leaking my email or something. I don't know, stupid stuff like that. But for the most part, I have all of these down here. This one popped off. It almost got 3,000 views, which I don't know why. Wasn't really impressive. I do have one video. Well, I have a few videos, but this is my most recent one that I made. That's like a devlog. It was fun. It wasn't really impressive. It was kind of cheeks editing. But yeah, overall it's pretty fun. And then if you go to the Discord here, I do have a Discord, which, let me pull that up actually. Let's see. Yeah, we got a good Discord here. I mean, let's see how many people we got. We got 39 people offline. We got 4 people online. We got 6 people in a pupil position. I need to update I definitely need to update the roles. But it's been fun. I feel like a lot of people have been joining lately. I'm gonna figure out how to get the roles fixed. But we got a good little community growing, and I'm really happy with it. Tried making a game in Game Builder Garage. It was fun to make a single demo, but it's very limiting. Yeah, I feel like, you know what I would love? Like, what is it? Scratch? I feel like Scratch is like the best starting language for anybody, even like just brand new beginners, you know? Scratch is so fun. You can make a lot of really cool stuff with it. It's basically just like programming blocks, you know? And you just drag them and then you make a game. I feel like that's pretty cool. C++, on the other hand, is like... I'd do it after learning Python at least, or C, you know. Learn C or C++. Probably C, honestly. You don't have to learn the programming aspects of object-oriented abstractions. Okay. Okay, I think I'm pretty much there for most of the design. I just need to fill out the rest of these classes, which I think I might come back tomorrow and just finish up the class diagram aspect. And then that way, whenever I do my next stream, we can just start hooking it up. And then I feel like it'll go a lot better. But I'm really excited. I feel like I'm finally getting back into the... It's not even that hard, really, but just into C++ stuff. And yeah, I really... Because I do React for work, you know, I do web development, and it's really not the same at all. I mean, there's so many abstractions that come with web development that, you know, you can enjoy parts of it sometimes. I think sometimes it's really cool what you can do with web development, but like with the libraries and the tools you have, but there's just something about raw C++ or C, and I don't know, it's just more fun for me. I enjoy it. It's the programming that I like. Not that I don't like my job, I like learning as well, but just building stuff from the ground up is really fun, I think. As at least, you know, I'm using some libraries still, but from the most part, I'm designing it from the ground up. So yeah. I think I'm going to end this stream here, and we'll be back for sure. And then we'll start getting all these classes hooked up and made, and then the biggest thing that's going to be hard, I think, is the OpenGL stuff, but honestly, I've done it before and I can do it again, so I just need to make sure I get these texture classes, and the mesh class is going to be the worst, but there's not that much on the screen, so it should be fine. But yeah, I feel like today was a really good stream. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys have questions, you know, let me know. Go to join the Discord, please. I'd love to see you guys there. I'm going to hop off, though, so I can get some sleep for tomorrow. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I will talk to you guys later.